For all of you who listen to Mac East Second Floor Studios presents Submersion and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure to set Mac East Second Floor Studios as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. Episode 20.
Woo!
Just out of nowhere.
It should be episode, whatever the elemental number for iron is.
I looked it up for you, Jamie.
What's that?
The steel anniversary for marriage is the 11th anniversary.
Oh, we already missed it. Should have been episode 11.
Shoot.
What an asshole, Kyle.
I blew it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Let's wrap this up.
Yep.
Short episode this week.
You guys might have heard a couple little giggles.
Little giggles.
Jamie, you want to tell us who the hell that is?
That's the second half of the badmovietwins.com duo. That's my brother, Patrick, who has been helicoptered in from the UK because we were missing a couple of the regular hosts and dropped into the submarine to host with us.
It's only 1 a.m. here, and very luckily, we had an enthralling film for me to watch this week. So.
Right. To keep you awake.
Yep.
Yeah, you literally just watched it, so you're way more up to date on this than I am. I watched this days and days ago.
Oh, I watched it last night, but when you text me and said, hey, should Patrick be on it? I looked at my watch. I thought, there's only like 4 hours. Is he going to be able to do this?
Not awake. That's for sure.
Patrick, you and your brother love bad movies.
Yes.
Yep. And this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like the actual rating on IMDb and stuff like that, it's a bad movie. So I did think it was a perfect one for him to hop on. And
not perfect. Like Down Periscope would have been perfect. But whatever.
Down Periscope's a great movie. That is slander.
But no, like these are a little bit too small, basically.
It's too small for the badmovietwins.com. Because it has to be released to theaters. This was definitely not. That'd been crazy. We looked it up and it was like, released to 800 theaters. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. So you're welcome. You usually don't get to watch movies of this caliber.
No.
Yeah, this was a legitimately bad movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
oh my word, is Brom looking to make some redemption points right now?
Maybe. Yeah, trying to, I thought for sure you were going to give it like an 8.0 rating here. You're saying, I love this movie. And then we have to stuff you into that torpedo tube, get you out of here.
I am so far out of the torpedo tube right now. It's crazy. I'm like up in the front of the ship.
It's a boat.
Yeah, it's a boat, man. That gets you right back into
Damn it, I'm back in
the
tube.
Near the head. I learned that last episode, actually.
Dive.
What began as an innocent conversation among friends would soon spiral out of control and later be referred to by future generations as the eighth wonder of the modern world. Mac East Second Floor Studios takes you on the journey of your lifetime as your captains, Alex the Mustard Man, the artist formerly known as Brom, Jamie the Brain, Kyle El Capitan, and Zach the Backbone present Submersion.
I feel like it's getting shorter. All this nonsense we say at the top, just getting shorter and shorter as Kyle gets exasperated with it. He's
like, all right,
yeah,
this is the weirdest part in editing. Let's cut it down.
Yeah, let's get rid of it.
What if that's like the favorite part for some of our viewers?
Listeners?
It's not, for sure.
You and your words today, Brom. I am so upset with you.
What'd I say?
Viewers.
Listeners, I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right.
I'm just cramming myself in that torpedo tube.
Mm-hmm. And you're reaching out, trying to grab it and close it yourself.
I'm going to use that emergency evacuation lever that was mentioned in Below, or not Below, damn it.
Black Sea.
Black Sea.
Yeah, Black Sea. Actually, wasn't in Black Sea, you had to do it from the outside because they didn't have...
Well, yeah, but Jude Law lied about it.
I think it was Ice Station Zebra, I think, had the emergency ejection things. Well, whatever. Let's not be picky about it. Anyways, so Brom, what movie did we watch this week? Just official.
I'm gonna put a fork in the Top Gun joke, and I'm gonna just come out and say we watched the 1997 Gary Busey and Billy Dee Williams film Steel Sharks.
That's true. Actually, it's kind of offensive they call it a Gary Busey and Billy Dee Williams film. I mean, Billy Warlock is clearly the main character of this film, and yet he gets no credit. He's never he's barely on the posters. He's never talked about as like the main characters. It's always
his
those
name's
two
up
people.
there.
Billy Dee Williams sits in a chair and just says a couple words, and then they're like, "Stop, Billy."
He was he was a little low energy.
Yeah, he was. He looked like at times that he was looking off screen to read some cue cards. He was like, "What does it say?" He's like putting on reading glasses. He's like, "And we can hear the something." I don't know. Like, keep it.
His deep sonorous voice was putting me to bed. That's all I remember.
Oh,
yeah. And then this was the most subdued I've ever seen Gary Busey.
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Oh, my
Wow.
God. He was doing some Gary Busey things throughout the film, but like in a very, very quiet way.
Right.
It was almost like he was doing like crazy shit, and the director's like, okay, I can't stop him. I can only hope to contain him. And then was doing a bunch of like prevent defense on him. Like, okay, try that really long story you just said, but like pull down the volume a little bit. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was not like I've ever seen him.
Maybe drink this cold medicine before you do the next one. He's like, oh, okay, cool.
I didn't know this version of Gary Busey existed, if I'm being quite honest.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. So anyways, let's get into this summary. One thing I will mention is usually I have the Wikipedia page synopsis up on my computer or my the papers that I print out just to keep me flowing. I was disappointed to find out that Wikipedia did not have any evidence that this film existed. And
No,
I actually went out after...
False. On Gary Busey's filmography, it has a little
That's
red
true.
link indicating that the page does not exist. So there we go.
They did have a stub. They had a stub to tell you that such a film may have existed, but they have not had anyone spend the time to make a Wikipedia page for it. And all our listeners can be very welcome that I did create a draft today and submit it for review. So this now has a Wikipedia, or will have a Wikipedia page in the future with some little factoids that I found during my research for the trivia of this film.
Which is amazing because when Jamie got here, I even asked him, I said, did you find any trivia? Because I found nothing.
Oh, I did deep research on this.
You have to.
I
Dark
dive
web.
deep for real.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, we open with a news report, and it's telling us that there's been a revolution in Iran, and that they've overthrown the leaders there, and simultaneously a UN inspector, a chemical weapons inspector in Iraq, who was there to check chemical weapons, he had been kidnapped from Iraq, and it's suspected that he's being held, or known, I guess, that he's held in Iran, and that they're afraid that he will spill the secrets and allow this new government, which they're not so sure about, to create their own chemical weapons.
My second note in my notation here is just weird how accurate this could be.
Yeah, it really is quite applicable today, given that it was made 20 years ago. It's almost
so not
scary.
much has changed over there.
No. So they're determined to stage a rescue attempt, and so we get a couple scenes of them kind of detailing that they need to get this team together, and we get a little scene of a team practicing. So we get this thing where, oh my God, are they already doing the rescue mission? My God, look at them destroy these people. And it turns out that it's all simulation. They're just doing a training exercise, and someone gets injured. And I did find it hilarious. This guy falls over, and he's like, oh, he's injured. And I was like, oh, he got injured during the thing. And they're like, he's got appendicitis. He can't continue. I was like, wait, he just randomly had appendicitis in the middle of this? He just fell over?
I was convinced he got hit in the balls. The way he was like rolling around, I was like, he got hit in the balls. It's going to be a big joke.
He probably was. And they just wanted to not be so embarrassing for him. He's like, oh, it's that appendicitis. Can't do it. It's like, no, he got hit in the junk real hard.
Yeah.
He's going to be out for a couple weeks.
Somebody's like, thank God those improv classes paid off.
This is actually an inaccuracy for a military exercise like this. If you have a real injury during an exercise like this, the call out is real world. And they said, oh, we got an injury over here. So I'm like, oh, that's not correct.
Is that for real?
Yeah, that's for real.
I'm learning things.
I learn things every day. So at the same time, we see this group, and they need a new member, and enters a young man hero, played by Billy Warlock, who's visiting the grave of his Vietnam veteran father who had died in combat.
Did you notice his sweet outfit? The baggiest, most flowing, luxuriously large jacket I've ever seen on screen. And then the most white, like they might as well have been Snow White jeans. Like that's how washed
I was going to say,
I
in my mind's eye, it was that he was wearing giant 90s jeans.
But no, the color was the best one because they were so light. They were just so light. It was great.
I do want to throw out a quick question for everyone. So if you had to guess Billy Warlock's height, What would it be?
I would say like 5'3". He was really short. 5'3".
Yeah. So they list him as 5'7", which I think is a bold-faced lie. That is definitely not the case. He's like 5'4", for sure, 100%. So anyways, he's at his father's grave, and he's got his lucky coin, his $50 50-cent piece, and he's like, still got your coin. It's going to keep me safe. You never even reached 25, and I'm about to turn 25. And up drives someone who hops out and is like, we got to go. You're part of this new like team that's going to rescue.
It was kind of like a secretive, military car, but the car just looks like a piece of shit. Yeah. Like something. It was like my first car. I drove a Monte Carlo from '95. This wasn't much better than that.
Wow, a Monte Carlo from '95. My first car was a 1988 Volvo. It was sweet.
Good.
False. It was definitely not 1988. It was it was like an 86 or 85.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Oh, it's two years off. Oh man,
I'm sure it wasn't as quite as gloriously boxy once they got to 88. I'm just saying.
Maybe curved out those edges by the end.
I thought that dude that rolled up in the car though, I thought he was a giant because at that point I didn't realize that Billy Warlock was just a tiny little guy.
So tiny.
Like that dude's huge. It's like 7 foot tall.
10 foot.
So anyways, they're flown out to an aircraft commanded by Billy Dee Williams, and he's in command of the entire fleet. And they kind of lay out their mission. So they're going to the city in this coastal city in Iran. They're going to get dropped off by a submarine, and they're going to go in and rescue this scientist, and then get the fuck out of there and get back on the submarine and get out. Pretty clean, easy, in and out kind of stuff. One of the problems though that they lay out is that the sniper's got a hard job because he can't actually see everywhere around. So he can get a position, but he's going to have trouble kind of making sure that they're not going to get caught. Mm-hmm. And that's a little foreshadowing for us.
And something to note here is the name of this team of Navy SEALs is the Steel Sharks.
Yes, that's right. They actually mentioned it only once.
Yeah, they'll assemble the Steel Sharks.
Yeah, I think they
Steel Sharks forever.
That was they did mention they did have that theme song. I guess they mentioned a whole bunch of them because every time they came on screen, that theme song chimed in.
It was awesome.
They were actually I think they mentioned they were SEAL Team 2, but I feel like they only said that once too.
4 better than 6.
I don't know the order of these.
The ladder board. I assume it's a ladder board. They're number 2 now.
Maybe it's like DEFCON 1, 2, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so maybe they're really bad.
Yeah, really dangerous.
But it's kind of funny here. You're getting interactions with them, and Billy Warlock is, nervous.
He's a little nervous, a little serious.
Yeah, and he starts going up to the commander.
Permission to speak with you.
8 o'clock reports. Make all reports to the executive officer in the officer's stateroom.
I'm just feeling
Rogers, you're part of the top 10 that made the grade. You wouldn't be here if you weren't the best.
It's that I've never seen this kind of action, sir.
No way that's going on.
SEAL team, no way.
You're like, dude, I'm about to risk my life with you, and you're having second thoughts over here?
You are a communications officer. Get your fucking shit in line. That's probably what would actually happen.
Yeah.
And Billy Warlock would cry, a tear would get out of his eye.
And then you get punched.
Yeah, probably.
Cry.
So this sequence, are they on this? They're on the submarine at this point.
Not yet. No, they're kind of packing up and they're joshing about, and they're kind of like, and one guy's making fun of his coin. He's like, look at this pussy with his coin. And then someone else is talking about how he can order beer in like a million languages and all kinds of stuff. And then they head to the submarine.
They get helicoptered in, dropped off.
Just like Patrick got into the submarine.
Yes.
But that was the point in which they made the first of 2 welfare jokes that I didn't understand, right?
Oh, what was that one? I didn't.
So the first time they say, aren't you going to retire and then you'll live off welfare and be rich?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They do it twice.
And then Gary Busey's like, oh, I'm on food stamps. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are these jokes? I don't get it.
Yeah. They talk about how once they're out of the Navy, they'll end up on welfare or they're currently basically working on welfare. I don't know. Yeah, that was interesting. That was super strange. Clearly someone who was
A-list actors are trying to relate to the common man.
Well, so I couldn't tell if there was a racial component to it. I assume not. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it was in the interactions with the 2 black people in the group was when it came up, and I was like,
okay, now that you mention it.
It's crazy.
So on board, we meet our captain, Gary Busey, and I had a lot of high hopes for this. I thought for sure he'd be just like stark naked Gary Busey, his dick's totally out, like, I'm the captain now. Yeah, like telling crazy jokes and stories.
Huge
and shit.
grin.
But he was seemed like a normal guy. He was friends with the main, the team captain or team leader of the SEAL team. And they're like, be safe out there. Like, we'll be here when you get back. And we got like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll be in the drop off zone. I was like, Gary Busey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You're like a regular Joe actor right now.
But
Anyways.
so here, we all of a sudden, we find out that there are 2 Kilo class subs in the area.
Oh yeah, so they have to bypass these.
And they have to dive down to 1,000
Iranian
feet, which
subs.
is important
Mm-hmm.
later for subs worldwide.
Yep. And so they go down to 1,000. They kind of bypass these things, and they're much craftier than the Iranian subs. Don't worry about it.
Because the Iranian subs were just purchased, and they even have Russian people on board kind of training them how to use it.
Yeah. So they know of 2 of them, and they get to a point, and they drop off our SEALs, and they go to the insertion point and end up heading into this place, and they're basically slicing necks and snapping people's necks all over the place.
Really long time.
They're just killing people as they go through this place. They actually leave one room just filled with people. They're like, okay, let's not worry about them. Let's be quiet. We got to like do our thing. And they get all the way up to and the sniper climbs up to his little perch, and he's kind of like hanging out, chilling, whatever. And they get up to the room where the scientist is being actively interrogated at the moment. And they look in, they do their little SEAL team stuff. They bust open the door and just like clockwork, just like take out everyone. And the scientist is sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're basically badasses all the way through at this point. And they untie him, and he can barely walk. He's been injured during all this like stuff. And they start heading out, and everything seems pretty good until the sniper sees like 4 people coming around. And of course, we're intercutting to Billy Dee Williams being like, "Let's get some like heat vision on this." And we're not only seeing what they're seeing, but we're seeing like them see this like satellite heat vision image of it. And they're like, "There's 4 people coming around the edge."
This was unnecessary.
Do you know what that reminded me of, Jamie? Behind Enemy Lines, the really bad overhead view.
Oh yeah, we just watched that one.
It looks
man.
super fake either way. So whatever.
Yeah. And there was like an infinite number of Iranian revolutionary
at this
soldiers
point,
coming in.
Once this point, so there's 4 people walking around, and the sniper's like, "I got him," and I'm like, "Well, but there's only 4. They could have probably like snuck around him or something." Instead, he's like, destroys them with his sniper, and everyone flows. Like the entire base wakes up. Like, did you hear that giant explosive sniper rifle?
Yeah.
I think we should maybe check it out, because like everyone comes. There's like this seems like hundreds of Iranian soldiers.
It was just nonstop.
And I was actually sitting there being like, oh my God, like I read the synopsis on IMDb, and it talks about like terrorists taking over a U.S. submarine. Like, this really seems like they're just going to get captured right here.
Mm-hmm.
And they do.
Yeah, again, I was like, there is no way. You just like give yourself up? Yeah, right.
Well, they did.
Well, for the movie.
Yeah, and then
so at this time also
one guy dies.
Oh yeah, one guy no, not that guy. Somebody does die.
The guy who could order beer and 100. He's the one who dies.
But also at this time, we keep getting cutovers to the Iranian sub, and with the Russian guy.
This is the other Iranian sub. This is a new one. So they have a 3rd Iranian sub that the U.S. didn't know about.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the one, they pop up.
He's the wild card.
Yeah, he's the real wild card. Oh, you better believe it.
Because he's just like, hey, if we take all those SEALs and put them on our boat, the Americans won't attack us.
Yeah.
Like,
and the Russians guy, like, slow your roll. Let's roll that dick right back up into your pants, because, like, you're not ready for this. And he's like, I'm the captain of this boat. And like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, you're a crazy person.
So I guess we'll go along with it.
Yeah. I better
bring him on.
Yeah. And so, they give themselves up because, they got one of their members killed. The kind of goofy guy, kind of asshole guy, jerk, he gets shot as well. And Billy Warlock's like, I was safe because of my coin. It's like, okay, man. And sure.
It would have made more sense if maybe he got shot right in the coin.
Yeah,
been like,
but no, that coin did not save his life. That coin was just a coin he held in his hand.
I think there was a Family Guy episode where Mayor Adam West was talking about something. He's like, if you shoot me, I have a piece of body armor hidden on my body somewhere exactly the size of a bullet. If you hit it, I will be unaffected. Yeah, that's exactly what happened here.
So they're put onto the submarine, and now the U.S. is flipping shit. Like, they don't really know what's going on, and Busey, as the captain, is kind of like listening and trying to listen with his sonar tech, like trying to figure out like what's going on. And so we get a scene with them captured on the boat, and they immediately take the leader of the SEAL team away.
After pistol whipping the shit out of somebody.
Oh, for sure. Like, all over the place. And they bring him in front of the captain, and the Russian guy's like, hey, let's not be so rough with this guy, okay? Like,
oh,
everything's fine. He's like, oh, you want to see rough? And then shoots him without getting any information. He's like, bring the next one in. Holy shit. So he's a crazy
They're not screwing around.
No. Yeah, at this point, he's only wearing a shirt. He's taking his pants totally off, and everyone's like, this is real weird.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm definitely the captain. Can't you see?
And now the Steel Sharks are concocting a plan.
Oh, yeah. And very rightfully, they've heard these gunshots, and they're like, maybe we should just escape, right, guys? Like, yeah, escape. Like, that's basically the plan we have. And Gary Busey also, they hear through the sonar, they hear the gunshots, and they're like, oh, shit, like, we better be following them, but keep a distance because we don't know what's going on. It seems like there might be some danger. And, if I know them, if I know the SEAL team, like they're going to try to escape soon because that's like protocol. Like,
and boom, they do escape quite easily.
Yeah.
And then the theme song comes on, Steel Sharks forever.
Yeah.
Lights flash. Boom.
Can we do a all rights reserved on this? I feel like it's kind of like already
might be
taken.
able to.
I bet we could buy this rights.
Probably won't be hard. People don't even really know this movie exists.
Nope. Only me, author of the Wikipedia page. And so it's actually funny. The name I came up with was Brains Submersion. That's who the author of the Wikipedia page is. No big deal. And so they split into two teams. One with the communications expert, which is really funny because they're like, we got to communicate. We better get up to the communication equipment. And they're like, okay. And they're like, we're going to split up. The other guys, you go take the scientist and you get to the escape hatch. And they're like, okay. And immediately they're walking down a hallway and they see some people and they just like start double tapping the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they waste all their bullets by double tapping. They even say like, shouldn't double tap them. Except Gary Busey hears it through his sonar tech and it's like, that double tap, I recognize that double tap anywhere. Like that is my SEAL team. And we know that they've escaped and it's time to really like follow and do some maneuvers and stuff like that and really buy some time for them because we need to preoccupy everyone and, make it easier for them to escape.
Right.
Time to do it. And, which is funny because now he already knows they're escaped, except we have this other two people going up to the bridge to try to communicate the exact same thing. Like,
yes.
We got to communicate to them. Like, all right, well, you already kind of did by just double tapping people. You can kind of do anything. And it seems to like Busey was like a super genius ready to do it.
And so the Iranian captain figures out that Steel Sharks have escaped and Gary Busey's going to fall in behind them because like you said, he needs to distract them. This is the second movie in a row where now he even calls this boat a pig boat.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't even notice that they.
Yeah.
That's right. I actually remember even when I was hearing it, I was like, "Oh yeah," and then something about the pig boat, and then it didn't register. That was because I had just listened to the previous episode.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we have not heard that at all in two movies in a row.
It's like how depth charges were in like 6 movies in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No depth charges in this one. Did they call the torpedoes fish?
They did not.
Ah, damn.
They did suggest a mutiny.
They did.
Who suggested it? Oh,
The
yeah,
Iranian
that's
guy.
true. Yeah.
I was looking for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, God, it's been a really long time.
It's been so long since we had fish. It was like the first 6 movies or something, and then like nary a fish mention to be seen. It's
I
kinda
know.
crazy.
It's disgusting.
I'm disgusted.
The CGI of the torpedo scene actually looked a lot like the Crimson Tide CGI.
Really?
Like
I'll have
almost.
to go back and watch it. I
Yeah,
love
I'd
Crimson
be
Tide.
interested in looking at it too. It might have been ripped directly from it.
Probably. So anyways, they're kind of, Busey's kind of touring with a sub. They're evading like torpedo attacks and stuff like that.
Telling useless stories about pit bulls.
It's really that's the only time that you get to see this real Busey come on. He takes this really long-winded story about pit bulls and it's kind of like it's about how like he had a pit bull and like it used to grab onto this rope that hung at a certain length. So what he thought he would do is he would lower it so it didn't hurt his teeth or something like that. And then like he lowered it, but it still grabbed the rope at the same spot, like whatever. And then he evades the torpedo real quick. And he's like, see, sometimes, they just go for where they think they're supposed to go for. And it's like the moral of the story is that he's a super genius that is like a crazy good sub-captain. Great. All right. Yeah, no. I mean, I love the story. I wish it was even crazier, but it's very subdued just telling of the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then the SEALs go into the kitchen, kill the cook. The cook defends himself with a pepper mill, which is fun to watch.
Poor cook. I'm not really buying the idea that he's like a super criminal of some sort.
No.
He's just a cook. But
then this
they,
is where
they straight up snap his neck.
Yes.
I mean, so they really go in there because they need to get some knives. They're running out of bullets, so they need like other weapons. And so the scientist kind of uses his science magic. He's like Mr. Wizard in there, like creating weapons. I guess like a real bad version of Mr. Wizard, though. You don't really want to have one where you're creating weapons for kids. Probably.
Yeah.
I guess
Here,
I haven't
kids,
tried
try
it.
this tear gas and this Molotov and these things that look like Roman candles.
You
But
walk
will
in, your kid's
light
watching
your friends
it.
on fire.
Like, what the fuck? What are you kids watching? It's like Netflix's new Mr. Wizard. It's great. It's like, what, Netflix? Not a sponsor. And so Busey randomly engages a second submarine. Should mention that. Randomly, another Iranian submarine just kind of like pops up and he's like, shoot it! And then they blow it to smithereens immediately.
They didn't even make it clear that wasn't the sub the Steel Sharks were on.
Yeah, no.
I thought they just ended it.
Yeah. Everything's getting mixed in my brain at this point because it's so much like just like jumping from shot to shot. Because they at one point, the other two people at one point get up to the communication bridge and they are able to do some Morse code to say like we've escaped. Redundant. Already said that.
But then this is also important because they thought it could have been a message from the Iranians, but they used the secret code word switchblade, which means get us out of here.
Which is also a secret word that we had in one of our badmovietwins.com movies, I Spy.
I Spy. It was the secret plane that Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson were trying to get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fun facts.
Probably stole it from this. Almost certainly, actually. And so, there's a bunch of acts of war that happen, but everyone seems totally fine with that, I guess. Definitely the U.S. and Iran are now at war as a result of Gary Busey's actions.
Well, they decimated 2/3 of their navy, apparently, so it's going to be a problem.
Definitely not going to be a great thing afterwards. Yeah. Never deal with that, probably. And so the first group finally reaches the escape hatch, and we get that's the group that has like the scientists with them. They've used all their weapons to great effect. They've sprayed fire at people. They've thrown Molotov cocktails at people. They're tear gas people. We get not a full body burn, but a full leg burn, which is almost as good. It's about like 1/4 as good as a full body burn. Someone's leg lights on fire. I'm not sure if Patrick was asleep at this point.
I do remember this. I was probably shaken awake by the bright lights that were flashing in my face.
Yeah, and then
fire.
They're like, wait, the people who went up to communication should have definitely got here before us. I'm like, wait, why? Oh, because of all your weapon improvisation? Anyways, I'm not really sure why. They had to go somewhere else to do this communication. Fine, whatever. But anyways, they kind of get to not the final boss, but the second final boss.
Billy Warlock and the
they get like the head of the kind of Red Berets or whatever it would be, Iranian Guard. Whatever it is, he kind of corners them, and he's got
him at gunpoint. Screwed.
They are real screwed. And then Billy Warlock remembers that he's got a magical coin in his possession that saves his life. So he quickly flips it up in the air. The Iranian guy's like, "What's that?"
like if somebody's trying to attack you, just throw something at them real quick for them to catch.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, and then sucker punch.
I would love to see them try to do that with the Navy SEALs. They'd be like, just knock it out of the air and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Or he just catches it and shoots him at the same time.
Like, just knocks it out of the air. Like, what was that?
I want to see the prequel to this film, which is him as a kid in like middle school, but the coin is actually magic and like helps him through troubles. And he's like, no, seriously, guys, it's a magic coin. And it'll make this movie just 10 times better.
No, because it's not magic at all. But the guy gets distracted despite all his years of training as a trained killer. He gets distracted by this coin in the air and they beat the shit out of him. And I can't remember. Did they kill him? Probably. Yeah. And then they head to the thing. And again, they communicate with the submarine. He taps on the sub. I'm like, so wait, why did you even have to go to the thing? You can just do Morse code by tapping your gun on the submarine. Right. Why'd you have to go? Again, why'd you have to go to the communication bridge? Stick together.
Because all they did at the communication bridge was Morse code anyway.
Then he Morse codes the shit out of the side of the submarine. I don't understand. Whatever.
We learned that from Dolph.
Yeah.
What did they do at the communications? They contacted the submarine?
Yeah, they did. They did a Morse code using a machine that they had in the communication.
So maybe now that they're primed to know that they're all alive, they knew that they could still tap in.
But they could have used Switchblade. Patrick, you don't understand. They could have used the code word Switchblade.
Oh, true.
Like immediately.
Yeah, they could have done that.
Anyway,
Which they did. They did,
Oh,
I think.
and we're pretty close to the end. It's fine because they communicate this, and Gary Busey's like, time for my,
Triple Deke.
yeah, for sure. It's Mighty Ducks Triple Deke because he's like, let's go down this very narrow chasm, crevasse, if you will. Not an abyss. It's not the abyss.
No.
They go down this crevasse. And they're heading down there, and he just basically dekes them out. he's like, oh, I'm here, I'm right here. And they're like, oh, we're totally coming. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna definitely come for you. And they shoot a torpedo at the U.S. and Busey's like, psych. He gets out of the way real quick. And then the side of the canyon falls and hits the submarine, and it sinks.
Yeah.
And then they're on the bottom of the ocean, and the Russians like, you better slowly roll, put all your clothes back on, because like you're not really doing great as the captain. Let me quickly unzip my pants and like that. And they're like, hells to the nah. He goes crazy, like shoots him.
Yeah.
They're like, blow the ballasts. Like we're going up and we're gonna do one more move. And then he goes up with this thing. By the way, the SEAL team's totally off the submarine at this point. Like, yeah, they escaped. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're jetted hours ago. And he rises for a second, and Busey's like, played right into my hand, and shoots him with a torpedo real quick and blows into smithereens.
Mm-hmm.
In the exact same, actually, image that we saw of the other submarine blowing to smithereens. Yes. No wonder you were confused, Kyle.
Yeah. And then all we really get is
they meet up in Beirut or Bahrain.
Yep.
And they're like, ha 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 ha, like laughing and loving and high fiving and stuff. And then they're like, remember those we've lost.
2 absent friends is what they said.
And then they
2 absent friends. 2 absent friends. They said it like 5 times.
2 absent friends. And then they zoom back, and you see how short Billy Warlock really is. I'm like, is he a child? Like, what's going on here? He's like, everyone else is either like 8 feet tall, or he's like 5 foot flat.
Yeah.
I want to also give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to GNN. Usually it's like ZNN.
Oh yeah.
When it's a fake network.
was an Agent Red.
Oh,
ZNN's also in, and I watch an inordinate amount of the show, which is depressing. Is in no way depressing, but I watch a lot of NCIS, and
that is depressing.
And ZNN is the.
I don't know who you are anymore.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, that answers it.
So you don't use Netflix like your brother does. Just the DVD stuff?
No.
Yeah. I'm like the last person in America. It's like, you know what? I'm not so into this whole free streaming. Can you just send me some DVDs? Thank you. Like, who is this person? How old are you?
And I watch NCIS. How old am I?
Yeah, wow.
So
just old at heart. So yeah, that's basically it. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Billy Dee Williams's sidekick. This is the woman who was one of the worst actresses I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. You could just put me up there and I would just read.
Yeah.
Read horribly.
Actually, also, I want to give a quick shout out to Gary Busey's XO, who was actually a better actor, but he was kind of hilarious sidekick who sat there looking confused as Gary Busey talked about his stories.
The dog. Yeah.
Yeah. He was like,
in the car.
There's a fun fact about him, actually. Let me see if, I don't think it's in the trivia. So, yeah, so Billy Warlock was a longtime soap actor. He was on a soap. I can't remember which one, but
Days
his
of Our
character.
Lives.
Yeah. So his character died, and the guy who murdered him was the same. It was that actor.
No way.
On that show, yeah.
Whoa.
Poindexter. That's his last name. Yeah, they were on Days of Our Lives together, and he was the guy who murdered Billy Warlock's character.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think so.
I think it's not so crazy when you think that probably most of this cast was filled in from soap opera,
yeah,
except for Billy Dee Williams and Gary Busey.
And even there,
they probably a bunch of them killed each other.
This is where normally you like to think that, actors who have been in some pretty big things. I mean, Billy Dee Williams, Brian Song, Star Wars, Gary Busey, and everything he's done. You think they could help elevate it? I think they were brought down.
It seemed like I feel like maybe the director was like, do that, but like subtler. And they're like, what? Do it, but like less. And then it's like, okay. And he does it even less. Like, okay, well, it's telling a story like this. And like, try that one, but like turn it down another notch. And it's like, I can't go any lower.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
I don't know.
I guess I sleepwalk through this.
I wonder if it was written so technically that there's just like
maybe it could be
not much that Gary Busey can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines were technical, other than the stories that he told, which I'm guessing he did that himself.
Yeah, those
Probably
are
he's like, all right, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
I need to do something that I want to do here.
He probably read the line, which was like, sometimes you just gotta, go places that people aren't expecting you. And he was like, how about I tell this long-winded story about this pit bull trying to catch a rope? And the director was like, if it will get me through this take, yes, like whatever you want.
Yeah.
He's like, great, perfect, got it.
Well, we've watched a few little films, and I feel like these types of films are also filmed in like a week or two, like it's 2 weeks long or something.
I think this one is actually filmed in a similar time frame, if I remember from what I was reading.
It's like nothing.
2 weeks or something.
So they probably got a take, and they were like, "What the fuck was that Pitbull story?" And then they were like, "You know what? We can't do anything about it."
Damn it, Gary, you got us again.
No time. He tricked me because he was so subdued.
All right, let's get into some ratings here. Patrick,
Ooh, am I going
start with
first?
this is your first
Trial by fire.
submersion sub movie. Yeah. Lay it on us.
When I give it the full foot long, do I get put in the to or no? The
Yes,
You
you would never be on this again.
Yeah. We'll find a way to edit you out of this episode.
That'd be really hard.
I'm gonna give myself a little leeway down at the bottom. I will say I enjoyed the technicalities. I felt like I was a learning experience, despite the fact that I was falling asleep during the film. And so I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3. I think. So I'm gonna
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. That was a mildly successful first try for Patrick there.
Yes.
There we
Short
go.
but sweet.
You can't see it, but I'm actually telling Kyle right now, writing it on a pad of paper, like never again. Sorry.
He's not my real brother.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. A 3, my God.
Yeah. Brom usually goes next, but let's switch it up. Jamie.
Oh my God.
No. What do you think?
All right. So I'm going to begin by saying that last week, for Below, well, that wasn't last week.
No, it was
2
Operation
weeks ago.
Petticoat.
2 weeks ago for Below, I think I gave Below a 4.5 or something like that. And there was just 0% chance I can ever go past that. Not that I was really planning on going much past that, but I will say, having watched Agent Red and watched Stinger, this movie was technically a far superior film to those two films. Those
Agreed.
are garbage that I don't want to watch. This was actually, I watched and was like, it's a little subdued. Now people who like bad movies or these types of small bad movies were probably sitting there being like, this is boring because Busey's not doing crazy shit that I want Busey to be doing. And like, that is upsetting to me on a personal and financial level, since I paid something to watch this film and I don't like it. And, but like, I didn't mind it. I actually thought it was kind of interesting to watch him do like Gary Busey things, but in like a kind of a subdued way. It was very curious. I was like curious about it.
I wondered when he was going to blow up.
Yeah. And then, but then otherwise it was a very straightforward kind of like action adventure of sorts. And I can understand it being boring. I can understand the acting being terrible. I can understand it looking like shit. I can understand it, kind of plodding along and all that. But all that being said, it is much better than it could have been. It could have been a disaster. So I'm going to give it actually higher than Patrick.
Whoa!
It's getting a 3.5.
Oh, there we go. That was originally what I was thinking. So we're still the best twins ever.
Got to
Don't
go
worry.
with the gut, baby.
Don't worry. Still best twins ever.
Twinning. All right. Brom, you're going to go last.
Oh.
You're gonna see what it's like being
Wow.
the anchor.
Okay.
You're giving him an out because now he can just line it up with us.
Oh, shoot.
We can't kick
Maybe
him
I
off.
shouldn't have done that.
The only thing.
No, I wrote it down what I was going to give it.
Oh, okay.
That's
You got
what he's
proof.
saying, but we can't see him.
We can't see
So
it.
just mail that slip of paper to Kyle, please. So
No, actually,
With a photo of today's newspaper.
yeah, mail a picture of yourself with that piece of paper, holding up a newspaper to Kyle's address, which is. I'm joking. I'm not going to give out your address.
Thanks. I could just bleep it. All right. This movie, you guys have already said most of it. It didn't look great. It was just like a 90s TV action movie.
That's a good way to put it. It actually did feel a little TV movie-ish, something you'd see on like whatever the military channel is.
was it the
makes, like-
4? Mine was from 4:3 aspect ratio. Was yours as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, acting sucked.
Mhm.
Story was all right. At first when I was watching this, I thought, why is there even a sub in this movie? when they were taking the SEAL team over there. I'm like,
Mistake. Terrible mistake. Rookie mistake, really.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, all right, thank God this is actually a sub movie now.
Yeah. If I didn't like you so much, this would be the opportunity where me and Patrick would combine our twin powers and start this revolution.
Oh, man.
Shove them
And
into the
take
torpedo.
over this podcast. Mutiny. Brom, you're either with us or you're against us.
Oh, man. I'm going to
be prepared for World War Brom.
All right. So, my rating, I'm going to have to match Patrick. It's a 3.
Okay.
We've watched a lot worse. It wasn't great. It's nothing I'm going to sit down and watch again.
Yeah. I can imagine there's a little gap between this and Agent Red, which I think a lot of us gave 1s and 2s and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a little gap between this and that.
Yeah.
Like this is actually, there is a in-between where you are a bit ridiculous, but not so ridiculous that you fall into Agent Red, and not so like competently made that you fall towards this one. Like it's kind of like a middle area.
Yeah.
There's a little leeway still.
With Agent Red, you remember how many times they explained what Agent Red was?
Like 5,000 times.
Yeah. At least we didn't have that going on.
No,
I'm pretty
they
upset.
turn around and be like, okay, remember, we're rescuing you because we're afraid that you're going to make chemical weapons for the Iranian government. We're like, God damn it, we know. He's a chemical weapons expert.
All right, Brom. What do you got?
All right, well, I dove into this movie and found out pretty quickly it was going to be a bad one. I felt like they could have really benefited from having like military consultants or something on the movie to help, with choreograph some of the infiltration scenes and stuff like that. Maybe they did.
I'm going to break something to you. They straight up had like the premier military consultant on this.
Really?
Like the guy who consults on basically any Hollywood film that wants to accurately portray, or I shouldn't say accurately. It's the guy you go to if you want to get like the stamp of approval and to be allowed to use actual footage of Navy or military stuff in it. So like because they had all those scenes in there, like they passed the military consultation that they did.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Sorry, man.
No, it's fine. It just didn't feel that way to me. And I mean, I guess that sort of affects the score and where we are with it is because it didn't feel like that. It felt fantasy. And first half of the movie, as Kyle alluded to, what's the sub even doing? We got the whole warehouse scene, and that felt to me like a on-rails, like arcade shooter with people just jumping out behind the crates and just spraying and praying everywhere.
That's actually that's a really nice way to put it too. It's like one of those arcade things you'd play where someone like hops out and they're like, hey, I got a gun. And then you shoot the person. You're like, great, I got him.
That's exactly what it looked like. And then they finally get into the sub. And I think that's when the movie actually became like watchable. I think it was, on a collision course with being like a 0 or a 1 there for a little bit. But then I think the sub, added a little tension. You got the MacGyver situations where they're trying to find their way out and, implement weapons and stuff. And then the Gary Busey analogies really were probably my favorite part with the dog and the car. That kind of gave you the little hint of Gary Busey that we know and love in there. Like, oh, he's still in there somewhere. We can see it peeking out. And that made it those were the most enjoyable parts for me, and I'm going to give it, and I wish I got to review it first because I'm giving it a 3 as well.
Wow. Look at us, we're all lining up. I wonder, what do you think Mustardman would have given it? I bet he would give it like a 1. I think he would probably be pretty angry at it.
Zach would give it a negative score.
Yeah, probably. He probably wouldn't have watched it.
He would have skipped through it.
I gave it a 0 because I didn't watch it.
And his favorite part would have been something on the poster.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What does the poster say? Let's hear the.
Oh no, that's in my trivia. Don't you
Okay,
worry about it. Yeah,
I won't ruin it.
The fact that I had to scrounge around for trivia for this thing because there was no Wikipedia page, no evidence that it exists on the internet.
That's saying something.
Yeah. Other than a weird Grantland article, the website, now defunct website Grantland, had this article where it almost seemed like the person hadn't really watched the movie. They got so many things wrong about it. It was real strange. Like little things too. It'd be like, and he has a lucky quarter. I'm like, it wasn't a quarter. Like,
yeah.
What?
It's not something that necessarily matters.
No, but
like,
why are you so specific about it then?
Yeah.
He's got a lucky coin. Why do you have to say it's a quarter when it's not?
And a guy specifically says it's a 50-cent piece, like at him.
Yeah. They make a joke about it.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that all your dad gave you?
Yeah. 50 cents. It's like, that's how I knew it was a 50-cent coin. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we dive into some trivia?
I think we should.
All right. So I had to kind of really go deep on the credits on this guy to start getting some interesting factoids, and also on some of the synopses in the poster, as I alluded to. So anyways, so first and foremost, here's the IMDb synopsis. All right. In this undersea thriller, a United States submarine is seized by terrorists, but a rescue attempt by an elite group of Navy SEALs goes wrong when they are captured. Now they must wage a silent war beneath the waves. Now, Pop Quiz Hotshot, is that the plot of this film?
Not at all.
No, it's not. That is not the plot of this film. IMDb, what's going on here? Again, no one in the world has actually seen this movie, except for us. I wrote the Wikipedia page. Anyways, okay. And here's the tagline from the poster for the film. A mile down, nobody can hear you scream. Now, Pop Quiz Hotshot, does that have anything to do with this film?
No, it doesn't.
It comes out of a book of tagline formats. It's just like, just take Aliens format, like tagline it and rip it off. That's like first rule of don't pay someone to make a tagline.
Yeah. So IMDb Synopsis begs the question, did anyone watch this film? And the tagline on the poster begs the question, did the people who made this film watch this film? Because a mile down, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And can't hear you scream? What are you talking about? It's not a horror film. It's an action film.
Right.
What's going on here?
Oh my gosh, guys, there's box art on IMDb with a different tagline, and they misspelled Gary Busey's name.
Oh, Jesus.
Amazing.
They spelled it with 2 S's.
Oh, my God.
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
And the tagline is, below the waves, there's only one option, escape or die.
That's
That
accurate.
makes sense.
That is an accurate tagline. Do not make fun of that tagline because that is accurate. I get it.
That's way
A+.
better.
Anyway, so number 2 trivia, we get. This is again something that I mentioned to you, Bram. We get no credit for Phil Strube on IMDb, but from my experiences watching Behind Enemy Lines for BadMovieTwins.com. That's badmovietwins.com. I know that he basically, if there's any military presence in a film, you have to get sign off from this guy. And it's been that way for decades at this point. And, if you have sign off from him, you can use the images. If you don't, it usually means you're portraying the military in a bad light. And there's even an article like Forbes, I think, or Bloomberg had an article about how he controls Hollywood's access to anything in the military and even has gotten some rewrite authority on some films to change plots and stuff like that. So kind of interesting. And he has a credit on there, special thanks, which means that obviously they got his approval. And that's also evidence from the fact that the extensive military scenes that they had in this, which were reused actually. And that's my next one. So stock footage from this. So those military scenes were reused in 4 different movies.
4?
4 of them. But most notably, the one we've already watched, Agent Red.
Oh!
And there's 3 other ones, which I didn't even write down, but a bunch of them are ridiculous garbage things. Crash Dive, I think, is one of them.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short because you wrote it on the Wikipedia page.
Oh yeah, no. I made sure the Wikipedia page is very accurate.
The Wikipedia page is, by the way, like it is honestly like twice as good as any Wikipedia page for a movie. Like no one gives a shit about Wikipedia.
It's considered the one I use as reference is Universal Soldier,
Nice.
Which is a major motion picture, and it is considerably better than Universal Soldiers.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this.
So as I said, I watched the credits, and combed through them for this trivia. So the submarine, I was really interested in what the submarine was. And I realized that one way I could figure out the submarine was through the credits because they usually give thanks to the people who have contributed in some way.
Oh, yeah.
So the submarine they're on is the USS Oakland. It's identified as SSN 798 from all the hats that everyone's wearing. This is not, at the time, this was not a real sub identifier. Although now it is in fact the USS Massachusetts. It wasn't even ordered for construction in 2014 and has just started construction now. So there will be that identifier of a submarine out there in the near future.
Just in time for our war with Iran. Am I right, guys?
That's right. Oh my God.
Oh
They
yes.
saw the fucking future. So given the number, this would have been a Virginia class as we know now, but it was actually portrayed by Los Angeles class submarines, which was the USS La Jolla, SSN 701, and USS Portsmouth, SSN 707. And that's on the Wikipedia page, and everyone should know that shit.
Wow.
I should actually add it to I wonder if it's on the Wikipedia page of those submarines, because every submarine has a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, they do. You should add it.
I can't wait for someone to be like, get rid of it. Like they edit it away. Like, no. No, there's no proof. And I'm like, it's in the credits.
That doesn't happen. They just yell at you. And like, this isn't important information. Please remove it. That's all I do.
Not important information.
I'm just saying, I get yelled at. I add like a ton of Rotten Tomatoes links to Wikipedia all the time, and the only thing anyone ever does is yell about it's already in the references. That's all they do.
References? That's horseshit. You need them in those external links, man.
Well, technically, you're not supposed to double. Anyways, this is we can take this offline.
So, okay, final trivia. The producer of this film is Ashok Amritraj. Now, he's the producer of some of the best bad movies of all time, right? So, which of these actors from some of his other films that he has produced would fit in this film? So, John Travolta, who starred in the Ashok Amritraj film Battlefield Earth.
Ooh. I'd like to see John Travolta on the SEAL team.
Really? No.
Wow.
See, I would
Definitely
say Billy
D.
Williams.
Billy
D.
You
I want
think
him.
so?
I want him popping out of those navy browns, like just
Man.
like a little overweight. You're like, ooh, they didn't do a great job in that costume, and he's kind of got like some kind of weird wig.
Gary Busey
But
could be
he's
good
wearing a
too.
Wig on him.
He's got like fake
Yeah.
teeth, and you're like, what the fuck?
But Gary Busey could be
Is that
good
his-
too,
that is-
because you could
is
unleash
it-
him on those monologues, right?
Yeah, that's true. Now, for the SEAL team, we're talking maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme, Double Impact, where he plays
Oh.
Twinzos.
Yes.
Yep.
I'd put him there. He's
gotta be on
also in
something,
a brand new sub movie coming out this
Yeah.
year.
But he could also be real weird if he was the Iranian captain.
I'd like
Who
that.
had karate chopping people.
Yeah. I don't need a gun. I've got these hands.
He has that vague Brussels accent that you can maybe pull off for some
Yeah.
foreign person on a sub.
I guess he could also be the advisor, but he does take over the sub.
Mm-hmm.
And what about Chris Klein? He was also the producer for Street Fighter: Legend of Chun-Li.
Chris Klein's our main character.
Yeah, he is 100% Billy Warlock, right?
I'm having a really hard time visualizing Chris Klein.
That is upsetting.
Just
I
think
forgive you,
about the time that you watched Here on Earth, and then pick him out of that movie.
Yeah, like the times that you've watched Here on Earth, like a whole bunch of times. Think of that movie and then the main character of that movie.
Yeah.
He's from American Pie.
American Pie.
Anyways, what about Nick Cage? Because he was the producer on Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh, man.
That's Gary Busey.
That's Gary Busey.
Yes.
And I want him to go ape shit on the
Yes.
submarine. He probably would pull his dick out. Not really. No, Nick Cage doesn't do that shit.
He's too highbrow.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, the best character from a Ashok Amritraj film, Ed Harris.
Eddie.
And what's funny is that I was like, oh, Ed Harris, I'm just going to add this in as like a little joke or whatever. And then I looked around, and he actually was in an Ashok Amritraj film.
Oh.
It was just called The Third Miracle, which no one's ever heard about. And here's the plot. The Vatican sends a priest to verify some miracles performed by a woman who has been nominated for sainthood. During his investigation, the priest, who is experiencing a crisis of faith, rediscovers his own purpose in life. Oh, woof! I do not want to watch that film.
But here's my opinion on Ed Harris. I'm gonna go with captured scientist.
I don't think you understand. Patrick.
No, but then
how
he's
this
creating
goes.
all the bombs and he's blowing people up, and he becomes like
No.
the
His
hero.
bombs would be bigger, better.
Yeah. In this scenario, the SEAL team gets captured at the beginning of the film, and the scientist rescues them, I think, is what you're saying. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. And he has to rip off he's trying to get out of his like handcuffs because he's being interrogated, and in the process he rips off his shirt, and then a bunch of oil dumps on him, probably. Anyways, let's jump real quick, because I've been going a little overtime, joking around with my bro here, to the Phantom Zone.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantom's engaged, sir.
And so we can do this one real quick. Probably even my little theme song is going to be even longer than my Phantom Zone aspect of this
Wow.
one, because we've already used Steel Sharks in a cycle. When I went out of my way to do The Abyss and then not go directly to Phantom because I thought it was funny, and I used like 500 films to go around.
Yeah.
One of those films was Steel Sharks. I used Gary Busey to go to Under Siege. The dad, Landry's dad from Friday Night Lights to go to Pearl Harbor, and then Billy Fichtner to straight to Phantom.
Dang.
That's off the top of my dome, baby.
It's fast. Yeah, I think your theme song is shorter than that.
Shorter? My theme song's longer.
Sorry.
And I actually re-edited it, so it's now 5 minutes long. It's actually most of Phantom.
Great. Just sped up at like 20 times the speed. All right. It's time. It's world wide. All right. So in this movie, the Iranians were driving around the Russian Kilo class.
Now, I did want to ask, we've never done Kilo class before?
No.
Did we do Akita class or something?
Akula.
Akula, we did Akula class. Or have we done that one even before? I actually don't know.
I don't think we have.
Yeah,
it's just
maybe
been
not.
in a movie.
Yeah,
I went through a list of all the ones I did.
Oh, you have the list of the ones you did?
And
Oh,
I was
okay,
like,
okay.
I don't want to be repeating any of these.
Yeah.
So the Kilo class is a diesel-electric attack sub. It's mainly used for anti-shipping and anti-submarine operations.
Oh, well, accurate.
Mm-hmm. This was anti-sub. Built by Russia and exported all over to all sorts of different places. They're the backbone of the Russian fleet. They operate 17 of them. China operates 12, India 9, Algeria 6, Vietnam 6.
Algeria 6.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Poland 1, Romania 1, and you got it, Iran does have 3 of them.
Not anymore.
Nope, 2 are gone. So these are actually very quiet, and they're known for their stealthiness. They're equipped with, I don't know how to correctly say this, anechoic tiles maybe?
I don't know.
Which are rubber synthetic tiles that reduce sound that bounces off them from sonar, and it also kind of, keeps them quieter. So, specs on these bad mamma jammas. The motor can generate 6,800 horsepower.
It's a lot of horses.
It is. I don't have that many on my Mercury Mariner. It kind of sucks. They're 242 feet long. It's surface. They can cruise along at 11 knots. Submerged, 19 knots.
It's not that fast.
No, it's not that terribly fast.
I mean, it's submerged at 19 knots is okay, but the surface, 11. I feel like we had faster ones.
Yeah, definitely. Depth. They can... So there were little varying reports here, but 820 feet and have seen down to close to 950 feet. So if that U.S. sub did dive to 1,000 feet, it'd be getting a little dicey.
Yeah.
But
the U.S. sub can go down to 1,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're saying that that's accurate for them evading the Iranian sub. Because the Iranian sub, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I probably brushed over that. Range, they can go 8,600 nautical miles while snorkeling or 400 nautical miles submerged. They can go up for 45 days. They hold 52 people. They also have 6 21-inch torpedo tubes, or the Caliber cruise missiles can be held in place of torpedoes. And these are much cheaper than other ones we've seen. They cost anywhere between $200 to $250 million to make.
I'm not sure we want one of those. I mean, that is within our budget now, like what we have on hand, liquid cash. But like, I'm not sure we want this. We want that Seawolf, and it's hard. From what I understand, it's hard to refinance our mortgage on something like this into that Seawolf mortgage.
Yeah. I'm just going to go to the bank.
Well, I'm just saying it's hard.
I need to remortgage. I'm kind of in talks to purchase a submarine.
Yeah.
What?
No, you're refinancing your mortgage on an already submarine. They're like, so the person at the front desk might be like, what? And then someone comes up like, oh, hey, no, sorry, I got this. This is Kyle. Yeah. Come over here to the submarine section. Over here. You can go behind the desk, right over to the submarine.
A little pool you dive into, swim underneath.
Yeah. Thank God. Anyways.
That's Subs Worldwide.
Loved it.
Mustard Man is not here.
I told Patrick, did you get an article?
I do. It's not a traditional, submarine article, but I enjoy
so
it.
maybe Kyle, you can do your traditional one, and he can do his little alternative one. He's really shaking things up over here.
Yeah, he is.
He looks real pissed. Sorry, Patrick. Kyle looks real pissed right now.
Yeah,
he's
I'm
like,
sweating.
What?
I was expecting
my brow was furrowed.
I was honestly expecting my own game, and I'm actually kind of offended. But go on.
Well, you can do your own game. I just want to talk about this one. This one's pretty impressive.
It's Twin Time and Kyle. And Twin Time and Kyle.
All right. So, anyways, this is new. It's happened just 2 days ago.
Oh, I saw this one. Yeah.
Yeah. If you follow us on Twitter, I post all sorts of submarine news articles because that's what I do. And this is on NavyTimes.com. A U.S. submariner lost his right hand in an industrial accident on a submarine, and they had to take the submarine, book it like a bat out of hell, surface near Spain. So they probably weren't, what the hell would they be doing near Spain? They're probably somewhere else. They're like, we just got to get somewhere. And they're able to raise up, helicopter the dude off, and have a Spanish surgeon reattach his hand.
Wow. If these movies have told me anything, he lost that hand trying to get a torpedo into that tube.
Yeah.
And it crushed his hand.
That's where it happens, man.
And then they reattached a crushed hand. It's a crazy story when you think about it. Why would he want to have a crushed hand reattached?
No.
It's crushed by a torpedo.
Can you imagine, though, your hand cut off, and you're like...
It would be terrible.
I'd just be looking at it and be like, holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah. Your hand got cut off.
Mm-hmm. And I'm on a submarine.
Yeah, it's not a great place to get your hand cut off.
No.
Probably.
I'd be like, somebody kill me. We got to do something.
And I would do it for you.
Thank you.
I'd stare deep in your eyes and I'd say, I'm doing this for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kill you.
Great. All right, whatever. Patrick, what do you have?
So I have a story. So I work in the football sphere out in Europe. That's soccer to you Yanks. There's a story today about Andre Iniesta. I'm going to pronounce his name like that. I don't really know. It could be Iniesta. I don't know. But he plays for.
That sounded the exact same to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna pronounce this one correctly. Barcelona. So he plays for that team, and he is now retiring this summer. And from Villarreal, the football club Villarreal, he received a mini submarine, like a little tiny toy submarine, as his goodbye gift.
Now, when you say a toy submarine,
yes.
You're saying one that he can still get into, like almost like one of those little cars that kids drives around in, but it's like a submarine version of that?
No, it is a literal toy submarine, and because his nickname throughout his career was the Yellow Submarine. So his little yellow submarine, and I'm looking at pictures.
Because his liver doesn't work and he's jaundiced, or what?
I have no idea why it is. But yes, so I thought that was a unique, when you put submarine and you go to the news section of Google, I thought that was a kind of a funny first article to come up for me.
Not what you would expect.
Not at all.
And then I was going to talk about the upcoming film expected October 26th. Have you guys seen Hunter Killer?
Oh,
we're talking a little bit about it. Yeah.
We?
Okay, because so I showed it to Jamie. Also, by the way, Hunter Killer, another name for attack submarine. So very subworlds wide on theme today.
Loving it.
But yeah, that storyline is just ridiculous because it's Gerard Butler, an untested American submarine captain, teams with the U.S. Navy SEALs to rescue the Russian president, who's been kidnapped by a rogue general. I can't wait. Just in time for Oscar season, so that's going to be great.
Isn't Gary Oldman in it, too?
Yeah, he is.
It's just like...
Oscar winner.
Yeah, he just won.
Yeah.
What is this movie going to be like?
Well, no, but it's a very
That's going to
old
be pushed
it's
to February hard. So it's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's based on a book, so I can't wait to read that. But also, from what I understand, it's been in development / in the process of filming since like 2012. So there's been all kinds of issues with it. Oh yeah, it's been in hell of development. So like, I think maybe Gary Oldman probably filmed it, but well before he won an Oscar. He was probably like, this isn't happening. I should just go for the gold and take all the money I can. Hunter Killer, sign me up. And then they were like, do you also want to play Winston Churchill and win an Oscar? And he's like, oh, also that, but let me finish playing this other thing in Hunter Killer. I'm like, okay.
Dang, I didn't know it's been filmed for that long. There's all sorts of sub-movies coming out.
I was reading about it, and the articles in Variety about it and stuff have been forever. Like years and years and years they've been talking about this film coming out. And they even released a new version of the book with it saying soon to be a motion picture. And that was back in like 2014 or something.
That's a really long time.
Yeah. Alrighty. You know what that means.
Cool stuff. All right.
All right, play that funky music, Kyle. Tube 3 ready to fire, sir. Commence the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give it to me.
It's official now. I'm finally a part of the team.
Welcome to it.
Thank you very much. All right, so tonight I've got a special countdown. It's going to be a little bit of a game, all right? So the theme of this countdown, we just watched a film that starred two world-class actors going toe-to-toe, Billy Dee Williams and Gary Busey, just really playing off each other. Did they even show up on screen together?
No.
Oh, at the very end.
Oh, at the very end. You're right. Yeah. At the very, very end, they were on the screen together.
For the
That's
15
funny. That's
minutes,
funny to think about.
they got them together.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it actually is funny that they even had them together. It's probably the overlapping hour that they were on set together. They're like, okay, we got to get through this final scene.
Oh, wait, you guys are both here? Let's just get a shot with you guys.
Yeah. Get over here.
So we've talked about this topic before where we've had two awesome actors, on screen, not tongue-in-cheek like I was with Gary Busey and Billy Dee Williams, but with like Denzel and Gene Hackman and Crimson Tide, Harrison Ford and Liam Neeson and K-19 The Widowmaker. Sometimes you see these movies, it's not even a sub-movie, you just wonder, how do they choose who to list first in the credits? Who do they list first on the poster? So that is our countdown tonight. It is what I'm calling the Face-Off countdown.
Nice.
And number 5 is Face-Off, 1997 action thriller. I want each of you to tell me who you think was first on the poster, John Travolta or Nick Cage.
I think
Cage.
John Travolta.
Travolta.
All right, 1 point to Kyle and Jamie. John Travolta was listed first.
I could tell. I mean, it's his good side of his face. Travolta would never have the other side of his face on that poster.
I was mainly thinking, wasn't that right? It was right after he won the Oscar, right? Though Cage.
Yes, it would have been pretty close to
So
when
I thought
he
maybe
won
they were
that Oscar.
going for that big punch.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think Travolta had won an Oscar. It's just one that he made himself.
And it was pretty close to Pulp Fiction, which was his renaissance.
Oh, that was his comeback. That
was his comeback.
For sure. All right, number 4, Tango and Cash. Got Sly Stallone versus Kurt Russell. Who's first?
Sly.
Yeah, it's Sly.
Kurt Russell.
All right, 1 point to Jamie and Patrick.
It's a little cheating because me and Patrick have a ongoing character on badmovietwins.com where we're Rich and Poe. We're a police duo, odd couple duo of sorts.
Hard-boiled LAPD detectives, yeah.
Yeah, we're don't play by any of those rules. Let's just be clear about that. And I'm pretty close to retirement, about 10 days. And we know the poster like the back of our hands.
I have a coffee mug
helps.
where
Yeah, me too.
our faces are replace their faces, and it says Rich and Poe. So
Yeah. I have a mug that I have at my house of this poster, except with my face on it instead.
That'll do it. All right, number 3, one of my favorite movies, 3:10 to Yuma, the 2007 reboot with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale.
I'm going Crow.
It is. It's got to be Crow.
Crow, yeah.
That is correct. 1 point to everybody. Number 2, The Mexican, starring Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts.
Oh, it's going to be Pitt, in my opinion.
Julia Roberts.
Pitt.
1 point to Kyle.
No!
Julia
Oh my God.
Roberts.
I was
See, the thing
convinced
is,
the sexism was going to do it.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was thinking. I knew that Julia Roberts was the bigger star, but I said Hollywood wouldn't put her first. They'd put Brad Pitt. And you know what? Pie in my face, or whatever the phrase is. That's not the phrase. What is it? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I'm not
boy,
sure
is
what I
my
was going
face
for
right? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
New phrase. Pie in my face.
Pie in my face.
Egg in your face.
Egg in your
Oh,
face.
that's an egg. Sorry.
There you go.
Oh, I couldn't think of it. I was like, I'm just going to go for it.
You didn't hold
All right.
back.
I did not.
And finally, number 1, and we got a tie here.
Yeah, I was
Kyle and
saying.
Jamie locked in at 3. This is a really good one. I had my coworkers help me with this. We got Catch Me If You Can, Tom Hanks and Leo DiCaprio.
Oh, I'm going to say Tom Hanks is such a huge actor. So is DiCaprio.
These are probably the 2 biggest actors, I'd say, in Hollywood, if not all time.
This is a lot of dead air right now. Patrick, you want to jump in here?
You guys are deep in the tank.
I'm waiting because if you guys both guess the same one, I can guess the opposite and maybe tie.
There you go. Good strategy.
I'm going to say DiCaprio.
Really? I'm going Tom Hanks.
Ah, shit, Tom Hanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lone winner. Team Kyle.
How is that possible? Because Tom Hanks is chasing DiCaprio. You'd think they would have put Tom Hanks first. Anyways. I don't
DiCaprio's
believe
on the left-hand side of the box, though, and Hanks is chasing him.
Oh.
They got DiCaprio's name
Oh,
first,
it's going
right
the
above
other
him.
direction. I thought it was
Yeah.
going left to right.
The mental
That's
image
horseshit.
that you have needs
That's
to be
horseshit. We live in
reversed.
America. We read left to right. You are chasing left to right. What an
That's true.
asshole.
That's
Oh,
true.
you're right. There it is. God damn it.
Look at that poster. It's so blurry.
I know. It's a
How did
terrible
that ever
poster.
get
They should
made?
really. I think it would be better if they just switched it around. So left to right. This doesn't. I don't get it. I don't really get it at all. This is a terrible poster.
Congratulations, Kyle. You have won Face Off.
I do not accept this. I don't accept this victory. I think this was a cheap trick. You fed him the answers, and that's how we do this bullshit. Whatever. And anyways, Tango and Cash. I know that poster.
You know
I know that poster. Thanks for listening to Submersion. Find us on SoundCloud and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Can't get enough of us? Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. And if you like what you heard, please go ahead and give us a rating.